Yes, let's start with human reproduction today. This is the part 1 session of human reproduction. So in this human reproduction, we are going to see the difference between sexual and asexual reproduction initially. So just let us have a glance at our syllabus of what we have to cover in this chapter. So we are having the introduction, then types of reproduction, that is asexual and sexual reproduction, modes of asexual reproduction, fission, budding, human reproduction, and then embryonic development. All this is there to be covered in this chapter. Okay, so this being the part 1, we will just see the introduction, right? What is reproduction? Reproduction is the ability of a living organism to reproduce young ones of its own kind, and maintaining the life cycle, continuation of the species. Okay, like if an organism does not reproduce, eventually it will become extinct, because nobody is immortal over here. Everybody is mortal, meaning that species has an end to its life, and if it does not produce young ones of its own kind, eventually that species will become extinct. So that is the significance of reproduction. Moreover, this reproduction follows something called as like begets like. Now what do you mean by like begets like? Like begets like meaning, yes, like begets like meaning, the if you say a pig will give rise to or give birth to piglets, elephant will give birth to a baby elephant, okay, tiger will give rise to cubs, right? Humans will produce a baby fetus. Okay, so every organism is producing the new organism of its own kind, right? You cannot have, yeah, tell me, you cannot have uh, a pig coming from the womb of a monkey, right? So like begets like, then the individuals duplicate their own kinds and maintain the continuity. That's what is like begets like. And there are two types of reproduction. One is asexual and sexual reproduction, and then reproduction is the characteristic of living beings. Okay, then let's see the types of reproduction. As I've told you, asexual and sexual, let's see that in detail. Okay, so we're going to see the difference between asexual and sexual reproduction. So what happens in asexual reproductions? Basically, who produces asexually? There are these lower organisms. So I have some organisms to show you, right? These are some lower organisms. Like now, I don't know whether you're able to see what is there inside this. Okay, now you can see that there are some organisms which are swimming over here. These are the Hydra. Okay, you can see, I hope you are able to see those my organisms which are there, and these Hydra, these are the lower organisms, and these lower organisms Hydra are able to reproduce only asexually, right? But and even this is starfish is also reproducing asexually, right? This is also an organism, this is a lower organism which is reproducing asexually. Then if I talk about some higher organisms like the scoliodon, right, it's also called as the dogfish, or if I talk about some higher organisms like the annelida, okay, the annelida, or the ascaris, okay, or if not the ascaris, then cockroach, okay. These organisms are higher organisms and they are able to produce sexually, right? They will produce what? Sexually. But lower organisms like the Hydra are able to produce asexual mode only, right? They will produce by the asexual mode only. Who? The Hydra. Okay. Now, in that asexual kind of type of reproduction, there is only somatogrammatic reproduction. That means the entire body of the organism is utilized for reproduction. In humans, in higher animals, it's not the entire body, it's only a part of the body which is utilized for reproduction, and it is in the form of gametes. Males produce male gametes called as sperms, and females produce female gametes called as oocytes, and that's how the gametic reproduction is taking place. In case of sexual reproduction, we are having gametes, right? Here only one parent is involved. Okay, it is called as tumiho mata pita tumiho, meaning that only that lower organism is the entire organism which is involved in reproduction. There is no male female distinct, right? So there are some animals which are monoecious, right? They don't have male and female distinct in them, right? But there are animals which are dioecious. In sexual reproduction, you'll see dioecious animal. They are morphologically also different. Like a male and female will look different. Especially in humans, it's dimorphic. Dimorphic, morph meaning external characters. So the external characters, दूर से देख के भी पता चल जाएगा who's a male and who's a female. So there are some external characters in from which you can identify a male and female. But in lower organisms, there is no a male and female who are, especially those who are producing asexually. So there is only one parent involved. And as the animals were evolving, there is one type of organisms. There are a few organisms which are bisexual. That means the male and female is there in one single body. That one single body is only the male and the one single body is only the female. And they are called as what? Hermaphrodite. What are they called as? Hermaphrodite. So hermaphrodite meaning what? Hermaphrodite meaning they are male and female in the same body. Then carried out only by mitotic division. These cells, they will divide only by mitosis. Like even in humans, we are dividing, all our body cells are dividing mitotically. We are having mitotic division. But only in our reproductive cells, that is in the testes and in the ovaries, we will produce meiotic divisions. That means one cell will produce 4 kind of haploid cells. In this, one cell will produce 2 diploid cells. So this is mitotic, this is meiotic. Now, does not involve formation of gametes and fusion of gametes. Here it involves formation and fusion of gametes. Then offsprings are called as clones over here because there is no variation whatsoever. The offspring matlab the child, ठीक है, the species, the new progeny, वो offspring में और उसके parents में कोई difference नहीं, they are clones, they are identical. देखना कि ये ऐसा आपके humans में ऐसा होता है क्या, आप आपके पेरेंट्स के साथ रिजेंबल करते हो बट यू डोंट लुक आइडेंटिकल टू योर पेरेंट्स, राइट? यू मे हैव द स्किन कलर, टेक्सचर, hair color, hair texture of your parents, the eye color में मैच, बट यू डोंट लुक आइडेंटिकल. ये सिर्फ मूवीज में होता है कि अमिताभ बच्चन का बेटा अमिताभ बच्चन या ऋतिक रोशन का बेटा, क्रिश मूवी में नहीं देखा आपने, ऋतिक रोशन का बेटा ऋतिक रोशन. सो ये सिर्फ मूवीज में होता है, बट रियल लाइफ में अमिताभ बच्चन का बेटा अभिषेक बच्चन है. दोनों रिजेंबल करते, दोनों सिमिलर हो सकता है कि दोनों की हाइट लंबी है, दोनों की कुछ फीचर्स मैच करते हैं, बट दे आर नॉट आइडेंटिकल, राइट? Then if you talk about Hrithik Roshan also, his children and he himself is not identical, there is variation. So in sexual reproduction we have something called as variation, but here there is no variation and the offsprings are called as clones. Then here the reproduction is a rapid and primitive type of reproduction. Isian, just move the slide over here. Okay, here the offsprings, here there is a rapid and primitive type of reproduction and found in higher plants and animals who in this case is found in lower animals. Here it is found in higher animals and plants. Reproductive unit may be the whole body and reproductive unit may only be a part of the whole body. Okay, so this is the difference between what? Sexual and asexual reproduction. So one more point which I forgot to tell you, that is in sexual reproduction there is hybrid vigor. That means the offsprings can be better than their parents, and that's how evolution has taken place. So that is called as what? Yeah, hybrid vigor. Hybrid vigor is when the offsprings are better evolved than their parents. So this is the difference between asexual and sexual reproduction. Okay, this is the difference between asexual and sexual reproduction. Then let us see the modes of asexual reproduction. Which different type of modes of asexual reproduction are there? Now you can see in amoeba performs binary fission. This is the first mode of asexual reproduction. Binary fission, meaning the cell divides into 2 parts. Okay, so you can see over here the entire body is only involved in reproduction, and one cell, first the nucleus divides, then there is a kink in the nucleus divided into 2, then the cells divide into 2 and you get 2 daughter cells, right? So this is dividing from the center and this is dividing from you can say laterally. Then there are different angles of division, but the entire body is involved in cell division and you get ultimately 2 daughter cells. Okay, so this is binary fission. What is this? This is binary fission. Then we are having fission is also seen in paramecium, right? So paramecium divides according to binary fission, fission meaning division. Now there is then budding. Like as I had shown you about Hydra, the Hydra forms buds. That means this is like I would say the viviparous way of reproduction. There are two ways of reproduction: viviparous and oviparous. Viviparous meaning giving birth to young ones, and oviparous meaning laying eggs. Both are types of sexual reproduction only, oviparous and viviparous. Then here it is viviparous way of asexual reproduction. Why do I call it as viviparous way of asexual reproduction? Because here the new organism is growing. You can see over here, the new organism is growing on the body of the parent. It is growing on the body of the parent. That's why it is called as viviparous way of asexual reproduction. And here there is a bud. Here this will grow into an entire organism. It will fall over here and start growing as another organism. I also would like to tell you that don't get confused between Hydra and Hydrilla. Hydra is an aquatic animal and Hydrilla is an aquatic plant. Don't get confused between the two. In photosynthesis you are having, in biology you are having Hydrilla, that's an aquatic plant, and Hydra is an aquatic animal. What I've shown you just now, this kind of thing, is an aquatic animal. So it performs reproduction, it divides itself, not divides, it forms buds, and through budding it is able to perform reproduction. Now there is one more kind of reproduction, which is one more type of asexual reproduction, which is like seen in the starfish. Now if you cut the starfish from the center, it is like kind of immortal. Like if you keep on cutting it, it will grow into those many starfish, provided that some part of the center is also there in the limb. See, it is having the power of regeneration. ऐसा power of regeneration आप में है क्या? आपकी उंगली कट करती है, उधर नई उंगली आती है क्या? नहीं, नई उंगली भी नहीं आती, और उस उंगली में से नया इंसान बनता है क्या? बिल्कुल नहीं. राइट ये थोड़ा पावर ऑफ रीजनरेशन आपको लिजर्ड्स में दिखेगा, बट इट इज नॉट द रीजनरेशन विच इज लाइक द रिप्रोडक्टिव रीजनरेशन. लाइक लिजर्ड्स में टेल कट हो जाती है, वहां फिर बाद में नई टेल आती है. सो वो थोड़ा रीजनरेशन दिखा रहा है, बट स्टारफिश जैसा रिप्रोडक्शन वाला रीजनरेशन नहीं दिखा रहे. ये सपोज मैं इसका अगर एक लिम्ब कट कर देता हूँ, 5 लिम्ब है यहाँ पे, वो 5 में से एक लिम्ब अगर मैं कट कर देता हूँ तो उस लिम्ब में से नया स्टारफिश बनेगा, और जहां से लिम्ब कट हुआ है वहां पे नया लिम्ब भी बन जाएगा. सो दिस इज काइंड ऑफ, इट्स कंसिडर्ड टू बी इमॉर्टल, and this is what the starfish. Okay, it is showing regeneration. Regeneration is the type of reproduction over here. देन और एक टाइप का एसेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन. अब वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन किसको कहते हैं? लाइक यू हैव अ पोटैटो, तो पोटैटो में डिफरेंट आईज है, आईज मतलब वो बर्ड्स है, तो वो आईज निकाल के अगर आप प्लांट कर देते हो तो उतने पोटैटोज फास्ट ग्रो हो जाएंगे. जैसे कि लेस की कंपनी पोटैटो चिप्स बनाती, उनको फास्ट प्रोडक्शन चाहिए पोटैटोज का, तो वो लोग उसके आईज निकाल के क्या कर सकते हैं? वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन कर सकते हैं. पोटैटो में जो बर्ड्स रहते हैं, आईज रहते हैं, उसको निकाल के अगर प्लांट कर देते हैं तो इट विल ग्रो फास्टर. I mean those many potatoes you will get. So that is a vegetative propagation, is a way of asexual reproduction. What it is? It is a way of asexual reproduction. तो अब आते हैं sexual reproduction की तरफ, जो कि humans में दिखाई देता है. So in humans the reproduction is sexual and it's active. It's dioecious, that means two individuals are involved. एक individual से काम नहीं चलेगा, ठीक है, एक ही parent रिप्रोडक्शन नहीं कर सकता, दोनों पेरेंट्स की जरूरत है. डायोशियस है एंड सेक्सुअल डायमॉर्फिज्म है. सेक्सुअल डायमॉर्फिज्म मतलब मेल और फीमेल डिस्टिंक्ट है. दूर से देख के आप बता सकते हैं कि मेल कौन है, फीमेल कौन है. सो इट इज डिस्टिंक्ट. व्हाट द ह्यूमन रिप्रोडक्शन इन human reproduction is sexually dimorphic, meaning it is having male and females different. This is viviparous, मैंने बताया, we give birth to young ones, we don't lay eggs. Okay, and reproductive life begins only after puberty. So reproductive life जो है activate हो जाता है after puberty, which is like from 11 to 14 years. It can hit you between 11 to 14 years, and that is the time when your body is getting it's starting to produce the gametes. राइट, गैमेट्स, मेल गैमेट्स, फीमेल गैमेट्स प्रोड्यूस करना शुरू हो जाता है. कुछ हार्मोन्स सिक्रीट होना शुरू हो जाता है, और ये हार्मोन्स सिक्रीट होते ही कुछ सेकेंडरी सेक्सुअल कैरेक्टर्स भी दिखाई देते हैं. सो व्हाट आर दी सेकेंडरी सेक्सुअल कैरेक्टर्स? लाइक जैसे कि मेल्स में देयर डेवलपमेंट ऑफ फेशियल हेयर, देन होर्सनेस इन वॉइस, ब्रॉडनिंग ऑफ शोल्डर्स, एक्ने, aggression, as I told you, change in voice. So all that is happening in males. That is the secondary sexual characters in males. Then what are the secondary sexual characters in females? In females, estrogen is released, and because of estrogen, in males testosterone, and in females estrogen. So estrogen की वजह से secondary sexual characters in females आ जाते हैं. The enlargement of hips, formation of mammary glands, then basin-like pelvic girdle so that it can accommodate pregnancy. Okay, the uterus can expand. Then other changes would be there's not much change in voice as such, but you can say the onset of menstrual cycle, which is called as menarche. Menarche is the onset of menstrual cycle, and the stoppage of menstrual cycle is called as menopause. तो जब menstrual cycle start होता है puberty age में, जो menstrual cycle जब start होता है, that is called as menarche. ओके, और मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल जब स्टॉप होता है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज मेनोपॉज. बीच में अगर टेम्पररीली स्टॉप हो जाता है मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल, तो उसको हम लोग कहते हैं डिसमेनोरिया. डिसमेनोरिया और एमेनोरिया. सर बीच में टेम्पररीली क्यों स्टॉप होता है? तो इसकी वजह है एक तो प्रेगनेंसी. ठीक है, प्रेगनेंसी के टाइम पे मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल स्टॉप हो सकता है, स्टॉप होता ही है. एंड सेकेंड टाइम तब स्टॉप हो सकता है जब द फीमेल इज परफॉर्मिंग अ लॉट ऑफ एथलेटिक एक्टिविटीज. बहुत सारे एथलेटिक्स कर रहे हैं, ओवर एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं, स्ट्रेस कर रहे हैं बॉडी को, तो टेम्पररी मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल क्या हो जाएगा? स्टॉप हो जाएगा. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज डिसमेनोरिया और एमेनोरिया. ओके, एंड इन boys and girls, I've told you what are the changes, secondary sexual characters which occur in males and females. Now here we are having the following steps. Yeah, these are the following steps which are involved in what? The human reproduction. Human reproduction में ये following steps यहाँ पर है. ठीक है, आपको दिखाई दे रहा है. दैट इज मेच्योरेशन, देन मेच्योरेशन ऑफ मेल एंड फीमेल ऑर्गन्स, दैट इज आफ्टर प्यूबर्टी. फिर गैमेटोजेनेसिस विच ऑल्सो स्टार्ट्स आफ्टर प्यूबर्टी. कॉपुलेशन के बाद में चेंजेस इन फीमेल बॉडी, देन फर्टिलाइजेशन, देन एम्ब्रियोलॉजी, then production of milk, and finally hormonal coordination. So we're going to see all these in our following part of human reproduction. So today we have done the introduction of reproduction, difference between sexual and asexual reproduction, modes of asexual reproduction, and we have also done the starting of introduction of human reproduction.